Thanks for watching the John Mendola Show, driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Well, let's get to this week's football picks here on the final weekend in September 2013. The first game up, Honesdale and Carbondale, the Battle of the Dales, and not too far apart between these two as Carbondale is going to host Honesdale. Hey, the Chargers, well, they got out to 4 wins. They're unbeaten, and of course, all shutouts. Will they be able to shut out the Hornets of Honesdale this week? I don't know, but I'll take Carbondale in the win this weekend. And again, way to go, Larry Gabriel III. These kids are playing off the charts. Selinsgrove and Berwick. Well, Berwick has to come off of the win at Valley West at home. And, of course, they're going to be home again. And the Seals were supposed to be a pretty good football team. They are talented. They did lose to Shikellamy this year. They're going to come, I'm sure, loaded for bear, so to speak. But the Berwick Bulldogs, I think, will be ready for the challenge this week with C.J. Curry. Another great game from him, the senior quarterback, doing an outstanding job. Nanticoke in Wyoming area. Well, Nanticoke last week fell to Myers. In the meantime, Wyoming area is going to be at home, and I think the Warriors will be able to get the win, battling through a little bit of injuries, but Wyoming area gets a victory. Big rivalry game this weekend, Riverside and Old Forge. It always is, no matter what you say between these two. Throw the records out. But Old Forge Blue Devils, pretty darn good football team, very physical football team, that's for sure. And Brandon Discavage doing a heck of a job running the football for the Old Forge Blue Devils and getting some great blocks all over the place. Linebackers playing pretty well, and the Polish kid is physical up front. Schubeck is a heck of an athlete, no doubt about it. And you're seeing some great stuff as well from number 32 on the football field for Old Forge. Well, move along. Tunkhannock at Crestwood. Crestwood gets a win last week at Wallapaupack. Greg Myers, excited about this group. The Idle-Digger kid is outstanding. Tigers, they're going to try to lick their wounds after falling in a short one against Pittston area. But I think Crestwood gets the victory this week. Valleyview and Scranton, this is definitely an interesting matchup. Valleyview has to forfeit a game against Lakeland from earlier this year. That's tough for them. Scranton just comes off a game that, they got beat up, so to speak, by Scranton Prep. Just unusual for the Knights to be on the other side of a score like that. I'm going to take Scranton at home against Valleyview. They've got to find a way to win the football game. We see if they will. And Jake McCarthy and Scranton moving along. Lake Lehman and Myers. This is a big football game in Double-A. The Myers Mohawks, they should be ready to play, but I don't know if they'll be ready for the physicalness of this Lake Lehman Black Knight team. Dynamic athletes for Myers. Lake Lehman has some bruisers, and the Vigil kid has really stepped up this year for Lake Lehman along with Dustin Jones. I'm going to take Lake Lehman over Myers this week on the road. Moving along, Scranton Prep at North Pocono, a signature win for Scranton Prep last week. North Pocono is better this year, and Greg Dolan. And Scranton Prep comes off that big win. I think North Pocono may be able to score a little bit of points, but I think Scranton Prep, the better football team this week. Montrose at Western Wayne. I think Western Wayne will get the job done at home against the Meteors, who have a long trip. Pittston area and Hazleton area. While Pittston has to take the trip to Hazleton, the Cougars trying to build a little bit of momentum, coming off a victory. In the meantime, Patriots get their first win of the year. I think this is going to be a tight affair. I'm going to take the Cougars of Hazleton area over Pittston. Mid-Valley at Lackawanna Trail. Trail out to a 4-0 start. Mid-Valley got a win last week over Holy Cross, trying to build a little bit of that confidence. Lackawanna Trail trying to get to 5-0, and I think Steve Jervis and the Lions from Trail get the victory. Moving along to Holy Cross at Dunmore. Definitely outmatched Holy Cross as far as physically. This Dunmore team found a way to get it done. I think they'll get the job done again at home this weekend. Northwest area and Hanover area. It's a tough game, as they say, the old trap game. You heard the analogies from all the experts out there. Northwest comes off a win against GAR, so that was a monster win for them. Hanover area has kind of been that pesky team. Steve Jervis said, hey, Hanover area played us very tough. I think this one's going to be a close game. I'm going to take Northwest area, but this one may be closer than some people think. West Scranton and Delaware Valley. It's a 4 o'clock affair on a Saturday at Del Val. And, West Scranton is a scrappy team. Delaware Valley played awfully tough at Abington Heights at the pit last week. I think this will be another very good football game. I'm going to take Delaware Valley at home, but I think this one will be a close football game. Lakeland at Susquehanna on Saturday. Lakeland's got to, recover after last week. Susquehanna, in the meantime, a tight game there. I'm going to take Lakeland getting the victory on the road at Susquehanna this weekend. Williamsport at Dallas. I think the Mountaineers of Dallas get their first victory of the year at home. They lost a tough one last week to Coughlin, 7-0. The Dallas Mountaineers get it done against the Billionaires. Holy Redeemer and GAR is another Saturday game. I think GAR will get the victory. Holy Redeemer will put some points on the board, but I'm going to take GAR, the Grand Army of the Republic. In the final game, Wallen-Pompack at Abington Heights. Again, Pompack has some talent this year, but I think Abington Heights at the pit, they're pretty darn tough, and J.C. Shao and crew will do the job for the Comets of Abington Heights for Coach Joe Repchis. That's this week's football picks here the last weekend of September 2013 on the John Mendola Show, driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers.